Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Jeannie and my last couple of videos were a little bit longer, so I'm gonna hopefully try to keep this shorter and simpler today. So I went ahead and pre-dipped my nails, so here's what they look like. These colors are gorgeous, but wait till you see them top coated. But we're gonna do some nail art on them, so I always like fruit manis in the summertime. So since it's still summertime and blazing hot, we're gonna do some kiwi fruit nails. But I do want to show you that one of these colors I'm wearing is a UV changer. So look at that change. How beautiful is it? And I feel like once you get that UV color change, you can really see the flakies stand out. And then it's so sensitive, you can see it change back already, which is really cool to see. So I've got the Happy Hour Volume 2 collection from CN Designer Dips that was recently released. And the flakies in here are the UV changers, and then there are a bunch of glitter. So let me go ahead and quickly show you these colors, and then we'll get into some nail art. And in case you want to see all the colors swatched out, here's what they look like. They are just all so beautiful, and I love how well they all kind of coordinate together. And believe me, it was really hard not to use the purple duo, but I wanted to try something different. But these are really all so gorgeous, so you can't go wrong with any of the pairings. Now this I'm super excited about because CN Designer Dips is finally releasing some nail art gel liners, and they are just so gorgeous. So they've got 3 different collections, and if you're watching this video at the time I upload, they will all be releasing tomorrow, August 1st. So the first collection is the Flower Child collection, and then the next one is the Country Chic collection, and then the last one, which I'll be using a couple colors from, is the Black Tie collection. If you want to see what the colors actually look like, you can go to the CN Designer Dips Facebook group, and I have some reels up on there, as well as I'll post a link to my Instagram so you can see what these colors look like. So I did a couple reels on those. The 2 colors that I'm going to be using in today's mani are L5, which is this beautiful pearly white color. I feel like the video doesn't do it justice. I wish you could just see how beautiful, kind of milky and creamy and pearly this color is. But I'm going to be using that one. And then, of course, I'm going to use L2, which is just your standard black. These are highly pigmented liners. They were super easy to work with. Oh, and did I mention all of these liners are a HEMA-free formula, which I think is really great. So if you're curious, these bottles are 10 milliliters each, so you get plenty with these bottles as well. So a huge thank you to CN Designer Dips for sending me these nail art gel liners to preview. So now let's get into some nail art and do some kiwi fruit on my index and middle fingers. Whenever you're working with nail art liners, I always find it best to do it on a matte surface. So because I pre-dipped, I did my 2 dips of color, I capped in clear, I activated, I filed and buffed, and so that's the point I'm at now. So after the filing and buffing, you know, I removed any of the excess dust, and now is the perfect time to go in with my liners. So you want to store your liners upright so you don't get like excess product everywhere. So I store them upright, but I always find that regardless, you get excess gel on the neck of the brush. So you always want to make sure you're wiping off any of that excess. So I wipe it off. While you're using it, you'll have excess still drip down, so you always want to make sure you're watching your brush and if any starts dripping, make sure you remove that before you continue, or else it could drip on your skin or ruin your nail art. So keep an eye on that. So I'm just drawing like a half circle near my sidewall just to kind of start that that kiwi look, and it'll kind of look a little strange, but it'll all come together in the end. At least I think so. So I'm just kind of drawing that in. And the key also to using gel art liners is thin layers. If your gel is too thick, one, it may not cure properly all the way through, and two, if your gel is too thick, you could get wrinkling, which isn't probably the look you're going for. So make sure you're using thin layers. And I love using gel art liners because they've got the brush built in. So these are long, skinny brushes. They're really easy to work with, and the longer, skinnier are easier to do straight lines because I cannot draw a straight line to save my life. Once I've got my half circle outlined and filled in with a thin amount of gel, I'm gonna go ahead and create like spokes starting from the outside of that circle. So it's gonna sort of look like a half sun, but I'm not drawing a sun. Remember, I'm doing kiwi fruit just because I thought this lime green color kind of was perfect for that kind of fruit. Because I find like fruit nails are just so fun to do for the summertime. Usually I'll do at least a couple fruit manis during the summertime, and I don't think I've done any this year, so I thought it was about time. So I'm just drawing those lines, and like I said, the long skinny brushes make it a lot easier to draw lines. Once I'm happy with what I have, I make sure I give it a full cure for 60 seconds in my 48 watt UV LED lamp. And I gave it a full cure because I want to go in with a second coat. I mean, I don't really need it because these liners are so pigmented, but because you saw when I have the UV light, it turns into this dark teal and you can really see that pearly white. But against the lime green, it kind of, you don't see it as well. It doesn't really stand out. So that's why I wanted to do a second layer, but generally it isn't necessary just because of the pigmentation of these liners. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over what I've already done just to kind of deepen it a little bit to make it stand out a little bit more against the lime green. And also, I can't stress enough, make sure that you're doing thin layers with your gels just to ensure that everything's going to cure properly. Because if you don't get a full cure, uncured gel can lead to gel allergies. And you don't want to be able to not use gels ever again because of that allergy. So I'm always super careful when I'm working with gels. So because I'm not doing a third layer or anything like that, I just gave this one a flash cure. So 10 to 15 seconds just to freeze my design. And then I'm going to go in with L2, which is the black liner. And I'm going to start creating dots to create those seeds. So it's kind of be like at the end, at the edge of the half circle and throughout, like where I have those spokes. I shouldn't call them spokes because they're not really, I don't know if they're like veins of the fruit. I'm not sure what you call them, but I just kind of want to scatter the seeds. I don't really have like a pattern, and you can see here I got a little too reckless and they started to bleed together. So I'm going to try to continue, but I end up just, it bothers me. So don't forget, when you're working with gels, as long as you don't cure it in your lamp, you can always wipe it away and start over, which is another thing I love about gels is I have plenty of time to work with it, and then I can remove it and start over if I don't like it. So I'm trying to ignore it, but like I said, it bothers me too much. So I decided I'm going to start over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol and a lint-free wipe, and I'm just going to wipe it away because I haven't cured yet. If you have cured, then you're going to have to file it away because then it's cured, it's stuck, you can't remove it. So see how easy that was? I'm just going to wipe it away, and isopropyl alcohol dissolves, or not, it dissolves, evaporates super quick. So I'm already dry, so I just want to make sure that it's fully dry before I go in with the liner. And then I'm going to start over, and I'm going to draw those seeds by placing dots randomly throughout the design. So if you're wondering why use gel art liners for your nail art rather than just using regular gel polish, I'll share with you why I prefer to use gel art liners. Obviously, it may be different for you, but I'll at least give you some perspective on why I prefer them. So one, I prefer them because they're a little bit thicker than regular gel polish, so it makes it a little bit easier to do nail art. I don't get too intricate because I'm not an artist by any means, but I find it a little bit easier when the polish is a little bit thicker thicker, and that way you can have like a little more crisper of a design and it'll kind of stay put a little bit better. Obviously depending on the gel polish, the brand, and the formula of it, but I prefer liners because they are a little bit thicker, a little bit easier to use for nail art. And I also like that it's got the liner brush built into it. So I don't require extra tools to do my nail art. So if I'm using regular gel polish, I need a resin palette or something to put my gel polish on. And then I also need a separate liner brush to create that line art or that whatever art I'm doing. And then obviously I have to clean that brush once I'm done with it and store it away. Whereas if you're using the line art gels, you've got your brush there. And these are really great because the brushes are long and thin, but they're not like too long to where it's unmanageable. So it makes it easier to do that, and it's all in one and you don't have to worry about storing separate tools or anything like that. And lastly, or the last couple of things I'll say about using line art gels over gel polish is obviously depending on the brand of gel polish, because all brands are different in their formulas. I'll say the line art gels generally are highly pigmented, so they're more pigmented than a gel polish. So typically you only need one layer of that color, whereas a gel polish you may need to build that up and do multiple layers. And then the last thing I'll say, and then I will stop, is that these actually dry tack free. So they are a no wipe formula, so you don't have to worry about any inhibition layer. Once you're cured, once you're fully cured, you're ready to go. You don't have to wipe away any tacky layers with a lint-free wipe and some isopropyl alcohol. If you're curious, you can use dip top coat on top of your cured gels. So since dip top coat is my preference, I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'm going to do one final layer of activator to all my nails. I'll let that dry for 2 minutes and then I will go in with my dip top coat. If you prefer, you don't have to use dip top coat. You can also use gel top coat, but I would recommend that you want to make sure that you apply a layer of gel base first, cure it for 30 seconds, and then do your gel top coat and give it a full cure for 60 seconds. If you do not use your gel base first, your gel top coat will peel because the surface of your nails are too smooth and it doesn't have anything to grip to. Because remember, even your nail art, that dries without a tacky layer as well. So everything's going to be smooth and your gel top coat is going to peel. Once I let my activator dry for a full 2 minutes, I can now go in with my dip top coat. And this is my favorite part because I love the reveal. So of course I had to zoom in so you could see the beautiful flakies and glitters. So for my first layer of dip top coat, I'm going to go in on each nail and do 2 to 3 really quick swipes. You don't want to linger on each nail. And then before I return my brush back to the bottle, I'm going to wipe it off on a lint-free wipe just in case there's any excess activator, because I don't want to contaminate my brush and harden it, and I definitely don't want to contaminate my whole bottle of top coat. So I'm going to do this to each of my nails, and then once I'm done with my 5th nail, by that time my first layer will be dry enough to go in with my second coat. And you'll know it's ready because your first layer will start looking a little bit dull, a little bit wrinkly. So then that's when you know you're ready for your second layer of top coat. And once you get into your second layer of top coat, that's when you can kind of take your time. You can do more swipes, although I don't recommend doing too many swipes. Make sure you're capping your free edge for longevity. And then your dip top coat dries pretty quickly. I'd say 2 to 3 minutes, and then my dip top coat is fully dry. After my top coat is fully dry, I'm going to go ahead and rehydrate my cuticles. And of course, I'm using my Scales of a Mermaid, and this is their cuticle balm in the scent Don't Be a Prick. And I absolutely love this because it's a nice, fresh, clean, light scent. So I like to use a lot. I like to be generous with it. So I press down and make sure I get plenty of that balm on my fingers. And then I'm going to rub it in. So not only am I going to rub it in around my cuticle line and my sidewalls, I want to make sure that I'm also getting underneath my nails just to make sure that everything is well hydrated. And here we are with the finished look. What do you think? Does it look like kiwi? Did I at least sort of pull it off? I wanted to do something a little bit different because I thought these colors were so fun and summery. And I could have done some limes. I think limes would have looked good as well. But in the past, the fruit nails I've done lemons and I've done oranges. And I thought limes were super similar to that. So I wanted to try something a little bit different. So hopefully the kiwi works. Hopefully it looks like kiwi and not just like random black dots on my nails. And I also wanted to show you my process for using line art gels to make your nail art easier to do. So I kind of want to explain to you like why I use line art gels, how I use them. So I hope this was helpful and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it also helps YouTube recommend me to others, which helps grow my channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.